Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Today we are going to share views about the spiritual meaning of the Holi festival. Bharat is a country of festivals and festivities. As we see in our Brahmin family, in India they say that Brahma Kumaris is an institution of festivals and festivities. They keep celebrating some occasion or the other. Because the original culture of Bharat is based on the Brahmin culture. In the Golden Age, we continuously keep enjoying each and every moment of our life, and every day is a day of celebration. And so to give us an experience of the Golden Age life, the God had to descend on this earth and establish this Brahmin culture, where we celebrate all the festivals of all the religions with equal importance. And the most important time of celebration is the present confluence age, the Sangam Yuga. The Holi festival also is celebrated because of this confluence of New Year and the Old Year. Like we had the New Year Day on 1st January, but the Hindu calendar, like if you go to Nepal, they follow Vikrami Samvat. And that starts now from the Holi festival. Like we have the 12 months in our English calendar from January to December. In the Vikrami calendar also, the month starts from Chaitra, is the first month, and Falgun is the last month. And now we are going through the last month of the Vikrami calendar. Vikram, I am using the word because that's the word which is known to the Brahmins. The first king who started bhakti by worshipping the Jyotirling of God Shiva was Vikramaditya. And in his name, the calendar is called Vikrami calendar. We call it Samvat. Year is called Samvat in that calendar. Like we have the year 2006, started from 1st January. The year 2006 too will be starting on the 1st of Chaitra month. And as I said, the first month, like January, we have Chaitra in Hindi. We have Falgun as the 12th month compared to December. And Holi is celebrated on the full moon day. You'll all be enjoying it on the 14th with sweetest Babdada, and on 15th, we'll celebrate it here. Like each festival has some spiritual depth in it, and it also has a significance from the social angle also. There has to be a reason to celebrate, like New Year is a reason to celebrate. Bharat being an agricultural country, most of the festivals are related to agriculture as well. When we cut the new crop, like of wheat, is the now time, then the persons residing in the villages, the farmers, they like to rejoice and celebrate it because they have earned the efforts, they have earned the results of their efforts. And they get a lot of money to spend, and that's how you can celebrate. So this is the time when the winter crop of Rabi is ready. Also, this is the time when Vasant Ritu starts. So, it is related to the weather, it is related to the farming season, it is related to the confluence of 2 years, and also with some stories from the scriptures. I will also talk about the story which is related to Holi. The real meaning of Holi, of course, we have learned in the Murli this morning, that there are various steps of celebrating it. We first celebrate by burning on a night before the actual day of Holi, and the next day we celebrate by going around, meeting people, throwing colors, and sharing sweets. And Baba gave us the spiritual meaning for that, which will also be revised during this class. As far as the story which goes with the Holi festival, there was a bhakta known as Prahlad. Like Narad, he is known as one of the best bhaktas produced in the males, and Meera is considered to be the best bhakta in the females. Prahlad also is considered as one of the very important bhaktas as well as a king. His father's name was Hiranyakashyap. When I was young in this institution, in 1972, 18 January, I joined it. We used to go to the places of pilgrimage, like Rishikesh is one of them, and do peace marches in the morning throughout the area, and then arrange an exhibition to give Baba's message to the people. And we were going in peace marches, we will have some slogans which will be announced, like they say, Sab Satyom mein Satya Mahan, Shiv hai Gita ka Bhagwan. The highest truth in all the truths is that God Shiva is the summonizer of Gita. And the second slogan, which used to be very common, Jo kahte khud ko Bhagwan, Hiranyakashyap Dushta Mahan. Those who call themselves as I am the God, they are like Hiranyakashyap, a devilish qualities person, a real devil, symbol of all the devilish qualities, who claimed that he is the God. So if somebody claims that I am the God and he is a human being, then it's considered as a very bad thing, and he is related to Hiranyakashyap. That's why the word Hiranyakashyap, I wanted to say, was the name of the father of Prince Prahlad. Hiranyakashyap, during his younger age, wanted to be eternal. So he did intense meditation. In Indian scriptures, you see something very strange. Whether you are a person from the devilish family or from a divine family, whether you are a Brahmin or you are a Rakshas, you all worship the Lord to achieve something from Him. I am not talking of this divine Brahmin family, Laukik Brahmins I am talking. Even if you are a king, you want to achieve some abnormal power, you would like to worship Lord Shiva. Because He is supposed to be considered as the most merciful God, who doesn't mind who is worshipping Him, what sort of person is He. But as long as one does intense meditation and remembers the Lord pleases and bestows on the bhakta to fulfill his desire. So when Hiranyakashipu did bhakti, intense meditation, the Lord was pleased and He asked, Hiranyakashipu, I am so happy, because he descends. Of course, in bhakti, when we talk of Shiva, we also mix it up with Shankar, and we always show his face, that a person with a serpent around his neck and a moon shining on his forehead, Ganga coming out of his hairs. So Lord Shankar feels very happy when somebody is remembering him, and he descends and he says, yes, Hiranyakashipu, I am pleased with your worshipping. Ask what you want to ask. And Hiranyakashipu said, I want to be eternal, O Lord. Bless me with the boon of eternity. And then the Lord says, I'm so sorry. No. Eternity cannot be bestowed on any human being. Because as long as he's holding a body, the body is perishable, and he has to die one day. Ask anything other than eternity. If you go to Dilwara temples, you find this, one of the pictures of Prahlad and Hiranyakashipu, and that's shown in one of the engravings on the rooftop along with the other deities. One of the engravings like that also. And then Hiranyakashipu thought, what do I do? He says, okay, if you can't give me that boon, then I will demand 3 boons instead of 1 boon. He thought for a while, and he wanted to cheat the Lord. And he says, can you give me 3 boons? He says, anything you ask, I'll give you, except eternity. And the boons asked were, first one, I should neither die in the day nor at night. And Lord Shankar said, Amen, granted. The second boon asked was, I should neither be killed by a human being nor by an animal being. Amen, granted. Then third one he asked was that I should neither die inside or outside a building. Again, granted. So now Hiranyakashipu thought, now I've got 3 boons. Neither a human being nor an animal being can kill me. Number 1. I can neither be killed inside or outside a building. 2. Location, person. And the third thing is the time. I cannot be killed in the daytime or nighttime. So eternity was practically granted to him. And once you get some very abnormal power, you become egoistic. It's very natural. And this guy started to behave in a very arrogant manner. He will call his subjects and say, now I am not only your king, I am the Lord, I am the God, because I am eternal. Let everybody pray me as the God. The subjects had no alternative, because he had announced, anybody who doesn't accept me as the God will be killed. So everybody wants to survive. Poor things, everybody said, yes, sir, you are the Lord, you are the God, you are the king, whatever. Now we have to also believe when Lord says eternity is not feasible, some means have to be found to destroy such devilish people. And as the scripture goes, always a person with divine qualities can kill a person with devilish qualities. The hero of the story has to be always a person with divine qualities only. That's how the victory of divinity is proven. It so happened that when his wife was pregnant, his kingdom was attacked by another devilish king, and he had to go out to fight a war. And he did not have faith on anyone, because he knew people don't like me. I impose on them that I am the God. And he thought that if my wife lives alone in the palace, one of my so-called guards can also kill her. So he took her to a forest area, into an ashram. In spite of the fact that he himself was a devilish person, he knew the qualities of the devilish people. And he knew that the people who live in the ashrams, like in India they call Brahma Kumari ashram, they don't call it anything else. Because in ashrams, the rishis and maharishis stay, who are people with divine qualities, and they teach people. It's an education center. So he went to an ashram and requested the Maharishi in charge that kindly keep my wife in the ashram till such time I come back from the war. It's going to be a long time war because the enemy is very strong. It will take me probably a couple of years. When I return, kindly take care of my wife, and also the child, when it is born, please take care of him as well. So Prahlad was born in an ashram, in spite of being the child of a devilish king, Hiranyakashipu, who claimed to be the god. And in the ashram, nobody claims to be the god, naturally. They all believe that one of the deities they'll be worshipping, and Vishnu was the deity which was being worshipped in that ashram. And they will always teach him the mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. One of the versions to appreciate the God, Vishnu. So this young one, when Prahlad was born, right from his day one, he was brought up in a divine atmosphere, and naturally he came out to be a divine person who had the love for God and also respect for God, and he believed only Lord Vishnu can be the God. That's what he was made to believe. And he comes home when the war was over. Hiranyakashipu won the war. He came back and he went to the ashram and brought his wife and child back into the palace. Now early in the morning every day, the king will sit on his throne in the court, and people will come and they'll bring some flowers and worship him. Oh God, Hiranyakashipu, we hereby bow down to our God, and all that type. That's what he was accustomed. Though his son Prahlad will also wake up in the morning and go and touch his feet and say, Good morning, Dad. Now in the present language, we always go to the parents, touch their feet, and show our respect. That's the culture. So he used to come, he was very young, he used to come early morning because he was taught he should go and touch the feet of the parents, he used to touch the feet of the mother. Now the father came, so he will go and touch the feet of the father, and his father will bestow him with some boons and say, Oh, long live my son, and all that type. And then as the child grew up, Hiranyakashipu thought that now I must teach him that I am the God and there is no other God. He knew this guy is, speaking some mantra, worshipping Lord Vishnu. He thought that he will forget once he is here. When he was in the ashram, he was taught that doesn't matter. When he comes to me, he has to forget it. Because he considered Vishnu as an enemy. But this child will not budge. He started teaching him, listen, you are my son, and I'm going to give you my throne, and I am an eternal person, I am blessed by the God, and I am now a God myself. No one can kill me on this earth. So you should also, when you touch my feet, You must worship me like a god. He says, I'm so sorry, father. You are my father. All right, I respect you. But I cannot accept you as the god. Then he says, who the hell is your god? And Prahlad replies, Vishnu is my god, and he is the only god on this earth. And naturally the father will get perturbed. He told his mother, teach this young one how to respect his father and accept me as the god. But the child will not budge. And her mother also could not tell her with force, because she herself lived in an ashram and she had also become a divine lady. So the tussle started between a devilish person and a divine person, and the divine person was a young one. Naturally, he had to bear the tortures for disobedience to the king and the father. And now the holy story starts with this. The father ordered him, persuaded him, forced him, nothing worked. Then he said, it is better not to have this child. Better I kill him. So Hiranyakashipu decided to kill Prahlad. And all these devilish kings had a lot of Mayavi powers. He had a sister named Holika. And she had the boon, she had developed that power from mantras, that if she sits on a fireplace, she won't get burnt even if she has to sit for a couple of hours. Not indefinitely, but she could resist the fire for many hours. And then first the father tried to force his son by using harsh language, by showing him a sword that I'll kill you. He won't be scared, because he treated himself as an eternal soul, and he says, no one can kill me. I am a soul. That was exactly what Prahlad used to always tell his father. In spite of knowing it, he will not accept that. That's what a devilish person is. He has made his son get escorted by a few soldiers and asked him to take him to a hilltop and throw him down so that he dies. If he doesn't accept my orders, he should be thrown out from a hilltop. It was tried out on him. The soldiers went and threw him down from a hilltop, but nothing happened to the boy. He just fell down and he was hale and hearty. Because Lord Vishnu will always come and take his child in his lap, because he used to own him. And finally he decided, okay, let us burn him alive. The sister was called Holika. A fireplace was made and a lot of woods and all that were kept on that. And the Holika sat down with his nephew in her lap, and they said, okay, put the fire on. Overnight, I will sit with this child in my lap, nothing's going to happen to me. At least in 8 hours I can bear it. And this guy will get burnt. Stories are always very funny. No father should do that to anyone, but then a devilish person is a devilish person. He can go to any extent. So the son was made to sit in the lap of Holika, the aunt of Prahlad, and fire was raised full night. As soon as 8 hours got completed, nobody noticed, because probably there was no watch around. And then Holika started getting burnt. And in a few moments, Holika was burnt, but Prahlad was totally safe, and he walked out of the fireplace. And he went down and touched the feet of his father. Good morning, Dad. So this guy, he got burnt out himself. But that's how the story goes, and the whole public came to know that at least now we have a young prince who is going to rule us in future, who has divine qualities. So the public had already developed a lot of regard for Prahlad. Nobody liked King Hiranyakashipu, but they had no choice. But when Prince Prahlad, anything will be happening to him, the whole congregation of the whole public was called around. He wanted him to be burned in public. But at the end of the whole exercise, when the child walked down and says, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and he came out, and Holika got burnt, naturally all the public touched his feet and praised him and raised slogans in his favor, which were heard by Hiranyakashipu. And Hiranyakashipu was really very sad. Would you like to hear how Hiranyakashipu died, or we should finish it? The holy concern is only after this. Do you want to know the story of death of Hiranyakashipu, or do you want to leave it here for Holi? What? Do you want Hiranyakashipu to die, or do you want only Prahlad to survive? I think from the ceremony which we did this morning with Dadiji, it's not only that we become eternal souls, we have also to burn our own weaknesses. So let's listen a few words about the death of Hiranyakashipu also. When Hiranyakashipu was so much annoyed, he saw that he neither gets burned in fire nor he is getting killed by throwing from a hilltop. Then he said, let me burn him by his own understanding about the God. That's the cheating technique one can use. There was a pillar, metallic pillar, which was made red hot, and Prahlad was called in the courtroom, and his father asked him, so young man, you didn't die and you killed my sister Holika? You are a killer. He kept smiling. Like Brahma Kumaris, you keep telling them anything, they only smile. So he says, I believe that you have got some abnormal power. Probably Vishnu is protecting you. Today I want to see him. Where is your Lord Vishnu? He says, he's everywhere. That's what the belief of bhakti is, that God is omnipresent. Is he present in this pillar also? He says, of course, he's present in this pillar also, which is red hot, burning hot. Okay, then embrace him. He's your God. Embrace him. This time he thought, heat of wood fire was not so much temperature, but when it is a metal, red hot, 3000 degrees centigrade, this guy must get burned. And then Prahlad was scared a bit, because there at least Holika, he was sitting in her lap and he knew she's not going to get burnt. Though ultimately she got burned and he walked out. Now here there was no one around to protect him. But with his inner concentration, he remembered the Lord. And then he looked at the pillar. A small ant was moving up on the pillar. That's how, the Lord gives you a hint, don't worry. So when he saw a small ant is walking up and nothing is happening to her, he immediately went and embraced the pillar. Nothing happened to him. Naturally, the king was really very hot. He himself was feeling burnt, and then he said, you said your Lord Vishnu is present everywhere. If he is present everywhere, let him come out of this pillar. If this pillar has not killed you, that means this is made of Lord Vishnu. Let Vishnu come and appear in front of me. And out came a being with a body, half of an animal, his face was of a lion, and the rest of the body was that of a human being. So the Vishnu comes as Narsingh avatar, it is called. Narsingh means, he is a Nar, means human being, and he has got a face of a lion, Singh. So if you see the picture which I am going to now depict, you will be able to find it in Delwara temple, how that Hiranyakashipu was killed by Narsingh. So a human being comes out with the face of a lion, and he says, ha ha ha, like normal a lion will do. And then he says, now Hiranyakashipu, it is your time. You have really troubled my bhakta too much, and you don't deserve to live anymore. And now since this young man is grown up, he will rule this country, and I am going to kill you. He says, how can you kill me? I am sitting on my throne. I am in my palace. You can't kill me. Okay, don't worry. He comes and lifts him from the throne. Lifts him with his, he's got his big nails and hands and lion like a face, very dangerous. So he physically lifted him, and Hiranyakashipu was, shivering, because he had never seen such a person with a human body but the face of a lion. And he lifts him physically and takes him to the doorstep. He says, Hiranyakashipu, now watch out. You are neither inside nor outside a building. And then he said, look out, it was evening time. Look out, it is neither day nor night. And you look at me, I am neither a human being nor an animal being. And then with his, dangerous nails, he tore him out into pieces. Killed him. And the whole public was around, was watching. Nobody came to protect him. Why? Nobody liked him. As simple as that. Because he was a terror. He used to give torture to anybody, and he would like to be worshipped like a god when he was a devilish person. So no one came to his rescue, and Hiranyakashipu was killed. And the whole public was very happy that the symbol of all the devilish qualities has died. And now we have a king who is a very divine person. And Maharaj Prahlad ki jai. We say that salutations to the king Prahlad. So they will say, Maharaj Prahlad ki jai. And all the public came up and they made Prahlad sit on the throne. He was crowned. And that's how the story ends. I have read many scriptures. Almost all the scriptures, whether they belong to any religion, they will always be oriented like that. Victory of the divinity over the devilish quality, persons having devilish qualities. But when we see the Copper Age and Iron Age, occasionally we see that, but generally we find that people with devilish qualities are flourishing. It is only the time now, at the confluence age, when the Supreme Father descends himself and he relieves us from the bondages, not of the devilish companionship of the company, but also from the bondage of our own weak sanskars. Basically, when we talk of the devilish qualities, they are our own weaknesses in our own mind. And when we are able to get relief from them, we really feel delighted. And so we do some sort of ceremonies, like today we did offerings, that we surrender all our weaknesses to the God. Also, in the Holi festival, in addition to what we have learned in the Murli this morning, that we first burn the Holi, so we burn our weaknesses. Then we do celebrations of meeting each other and distributing sweets. And that's what Baba says, that your voice becomes very sweet. You become a sweet person. And with your sweetness, you win the hearts of others. And the meeting is really between the soul and the Supreme. But there was no mention of our aim, that we want to be. Whom do you want to be like? Not like Bhakt Prahlad, I'm sure. Of course, Bhakt Prahlad is only a symbolic person. Whom do you want to be like? Lakshmi Narayan. And the younger age? Lakshmi Narayan you will become after marriage. And 50 years, at the age of 50 years, you get married, so you need to wait for a long time to become Lakshmi Narayan. How would you like to be born in the golden age as? Krishna, Prince? Yes, sisters? You like to be Radha or Krishna? You can choose, there is no problem. Now it is left to us whether we want to become prince or princess. Depends upon the qualities which I imbibe now at this time. That will decide our future. But an additional part which I want to add is that in holy celebrations, they also do one more ritual, or rather another activity which is to be performed is that you go to Lord Krishna's temple and see him sitting in his swing. We always show Lord Krishna sitting in his swing and he is swinging in the, feeling of supersensuous joy. That's what we see on his face. He's full of all the divine qualities. That is done in Janmashtami also. They celebrate Lord Krishna's birthday. People go in large numbers to the temples of Lord Krishna and then they have darshan. But what is specifically said about Holi is that you go to the temple, you don't have to hold the thread and swing him. That's what we do in Janmashtami, because that's a birthday for Lord Krishna and we make a child swing. But here they say that you look at Lord Krishna in a very concentrated manner. Means you be in meditation, deep meditation, and then look at him. That means in bhakti also, there is an indication that you have to look at Lord Krishna in a very concentrated manner so that you emerge the qualities of Lord Krishna in yourself. Like when he is sitting in the swing, he is enjoying the supersensuous joy. And when you see the face of Lord Krishna, it speaks by itself as to what sort of person is he. Full of supersensuous joy all the time. And the divinity, is spreading out of his face. And when we sit in meditation, what do? We all want to become Bap Saman, don't we? What do we do when we say that we become Bap Saman? What is Baba doing sitting in the subtle regions? He's emanating good wishes and the divine qualities he's bestowing on us, the powers, the qualities, the virtues. And if we have to be Bap Saman, we have to do the same thing. We emerge our final stage, our angelic stage, and emanate vibrations of good wishes for all the humanity, for all the 5 elements. Purify the whole humanity and all the 5 elements of the nature. And that is what we need to think when we do visit a temple, seeing the picture or idol of Lord Krishna in front of us, sitting in his swing and enjoying, swinging as if he's enjoying supersensuous joy, and he emanates those vibrations. Baba says that we need to practice it to such an extent, emanating vibrations now as Brahmins, because only then, in bhakti, in your memorial, when you'll be sitting in a temple as a deity, as a god or goddess, whatever, people will feel those vibrations coming to them. So we need to fill up that now, so that even in bhakti, the continuity of emanations is experienced by the bhaktas when they visit your memorial, your temples. And that is what is one of the significance of the Holi festival, that we go to the temple not just to look at Lord Krishna, but to be in deep meditation. They say in a very concentrated manner, ekagra hokar Bhagwan Krishna ko dekho. They treat him as the God Krishna. See, nowhere else it is said, ekagra hokar Bhagwan Krishna ko dekhna. Means you are in a very concentrated stage, and in that state of mind, you have to look at him. That means look at him as your future. Like Baba, always when he will look at Lord Krishna, he will tell, he will jump with joy, and he will tell the children, well, this is what I'm going to be, this is what I'm going to be. He used to jump with joy and say that even during Murli. मैं विष्णु बनने वाला हूँ. Vishnu means a small boy. And the picture of Lord Krishna and Lakshminarayan used to be there by the side, and he will tell that this is what I am going to be. He used to see himself as Lord Krishna. And many of Baba's children used to look at him and have the vision of Lord Krishna. That includes the chief of the Brahma Kumaris. That the Prakashmani came in this knowledge, had faith on the very first day when he had the vision of Lord Krishna through Brahma Baba. She was, as it is, a worshipper of Lord Krishna, and when she saw Brahma Baba's face going off and Lord Krishna appearing, and then again Brahma Baba appears, and Lord Krishna appears, and Brahma Baba appears, she watched it constantly, and that's what transformed her. And she decided to dedicate her life. So on the Holi festival, this is known to very few people. They only do burning of the firewood and a bit of cow dung. They cook some sweet chapatis and eat it, like we call koki. When you go back and you carry your lunch packets, or you carry your food packet with you, you always, like even when you go for Baba, you get a packet of food, but there probably they give you more of bread. When you go back home, they give you 2 sweet chapatis, kokis we call it, and they burn and they cook it in that fire. It is raw, and then you wrap it with a thread, and then you put it in the fire, it gets baked. And once it is baked, then it is tasty, but that thread doesn't get burned. Like there's a body which can get baked, but the soul doesn't get burned. They also say that as a symbol of that. And then the baked koki you take out, remove the thread, and then you eat it. That's how you celebrate the burning of fire, holy celebration. On the night before, you play with the colors. So when you burn in the fire of yoga, your divine qualities emerge, and you become sweet, like sweet koki. And then next day morning, you have sweet meetings with your friends, distribute sweets, put colors. Normally, in a very decent manner, when we celebrate Holi, if the males go to celebrate it with the ladies, they only put a little color on their forehead. We say tika lagate hain. That's all. Because a male is not supposed to embrace a female, so they only put a color on the forehead. Again, that indicates of soul consciousness. And then they offer her some sweets. And same thing is done by the sisters when they go to brothers. They put little color here, immerse their soul consciousness, and then give some sweets. Amongst ladies, they celebrate with full colors. Amongst men also, they celebrate with full colors. And the colors indicate the virtues, the divine qualities which we emerge when we are in meditation. This is the only system of meditation on this earth, Raj Yoga meditation, in which we emerge our divine qualities. Nowhere else. Rest all take you to some peaceful state of mind, and that's it. No other systems of meditation teach you to emerge your divine qualities, except in Brahma Kumaris, till you become an embodiment of those qualities. That is what it is, that you look at Lord Krishna as your future in a very concentrated manner, in deep remembrance of the God Almighty. We remember Baba, and then we emerge our divine qualities, because Lord Krishna is the symbol of 16 celestial degrees of purity, the man with the utmost divine qualities, the first prince of the golden age, Brahma Baba's future. When we become Bapsaman, we become like Lord Krishna in the golden age. So we emerge those qualities, and then we emanate those. Or we make others also get merged into those divine qualities. That's what putting the colors actually means. And always they sing a song, Dukh bhare din beete re bhaiya, aaj sukh aayo re, rang jeevan mein naya laayo re. On Holi, they always sing a song when they go to celebrate. They are dancing and singing. They always say the days of sorrows are over now. Now the days of enjoyment have come. Let us celebrate it. Let us dance and celebrate it. So the meaning of the songs which are normally sung is also very clear about the spiritual depth of any festival. But unfortunately in bhakti, they only keep singing without trying to understand what they are singing. They celebrate in a worldly manner while it carries a depth behind it that if you really sing and you understand, if you listen to what you are singing, then even the bhaktas will realize that it is a festival of emerging divine qualities. And also letting a distribution of those divine qualities to your fellow friends. So emerging divinity and spreading divinity is the meaning behind the Holi festival, and forgetting the sorrows of life. They put on old clothes which they will put with colors, and they change them once for all because they get colored clothes cannot be used anymore. But they say old clothes must go and new clothes we have to put on now. And the festivities are held at a time when people can afford festivities, when the crop is ready and you are going to sell it in the market, you get a lot of money, so naturally you'll be able to celebrate also very well. So indicative of the confluence age, the full moon day of the last month of the Vikrami year, Vikrami Samvat they say. And that's the day which has been chosen for the Holi festival. And of course all the festivals, as we go through Baba's knowledge, are put in a proper serial order. First there has to be Shivratri. God Shiva has to descend to give knowledge. Then there has to be Holi, the understanding of the confluence. He tells you the knowledge of confluence and then you celebrate that confluence. Then there has to be Rakhi, when we tie the thread of purity. Means you have to imbibe purity. Then there is Janmashtami. That means you celebrate the birth of a divine person like Lord Krishna. And then there is Dashera, that you burn all your vices. Burning Ravan, the symbol of all the weaknesses in a person. And then there is Diwali, celebrating the festival of lighting lamps. Once you have removed the weaknesses from your mind, then you can also lit the lamps of the other souls. And then once you are lit up lamps, then you are full of divinity, and then there is a full-fledged celebration, and Deepavali is only a festival of celebration. So it starts from Shivratri, goes to Deepavali, then again the next cycle starts. So like that we keep celebrating various festivals, but Holi being one of the major festivals which reminds us of the full moon day at the confluence time. It is only at the confluence period the God descends. The ultimate light, Shiva Baba, he descends. And then we remove our old clothes and we put on new clothes. So we remove our old habits and we imbibe new habits. We also apply tilak on the forehead of all the people, reminding them of soul consciousness. Then we embrace each other with happiness and joy, indicating that the sweet behavior of friendship is spread around. And also a day before, we burn the Holika, the symbol of the devilish qualities, the sister of Hiranyakashipu. So we don't need to claim, and we must stop claiming to be the gods, because in India a lot of people claim to be the gods. Atma, so Paramatma has been one of the versions which we have been hearing. Soul and Supreme Soul are same, which is really not. So we must know the difference between the God and the soul. We also burn away the weaknesses. We also quick cook sweet chapatis in that fire. That means when we are in intense meditation, we say Jwala Roop. When you are in Jwala Roop, then you emerge your innate qualities. There Jwala Roop is called fire, but here in Raj Yoga, there is nothing that, you are sitting in a very warm thing or something. You are in a very cool state of mind, but you have emerged all your qualities and you are emanating. And when we celebrate it on full moon day, means you are in your full-fledged form of light, like an angel, and you emanate the divinity amongst the fellow friends, and that's how we celebrate Holi festival. Thank you. Om Shanti.